All right, everybody, let's talk about the meeting this week here on the office staff. So, this week is going to be a series, or the beginning of a series, on handling customer concerns. So, if you've ever wanted to know how to create a systematic way of handling customer concerns, and what I mean by systematic way is sure, we all run around handling customers' concerns and problems and issues they may have when they use our company. But what we may not do is we may not have a systematic way of doing it so that in a systematic way, we can all count on what our teammates have said to the client. So it's not just us working our own private magic. It's transparent and everybody knows what was said because we're all saying the same thing when we have a concern. Therefore, it turns into a system, and really everybody in the company can learn how to do or help customers through their concerns or their complaints, if you want to call it that, right? Obviously, we're verbally packaging the word complaint or anger with concern, right? And I think it is important that we do use that verbal package and we do maintain our decorum because we shouldn't let emotions get in the way of helping our customer. Sometimes this turns into an emotional situation for us because the client is getting emotional, and that's something we cannot allow ourselves as a professional to let that happen. So remember this. If you're handling customer concerns and you get anxiety, stress, or you start to sweat, most likely you're making the concern too much about yourself and not enough about the customer. Remember, it's the customer who's concerned. You should be able to just channel people to the destination that they need to go to get the assistance or help they're needing. And then another thing you have to remember is that customer concerns are a gift. Yes, I said it. It's a gift from the customer because, in a way, the customer is telling you an area of your company that you need to improve. So if they tell you you've got a price complaint, well, it's not that your prices are too high. They may say your prices are too high. What they're really saying is that your guy does not have the ability to create enough value for that price. So it's not that the price is ever too high. It's that the way we communicated was not with enough value. They may tell you about your scheduling and that they waited all day and you never showed up and they had to call you, right? Well, that's feedback. That's something that you need to improve on. And you could hire a consultant to come in for several $1,000s a day to tell you how to do that or tell you what to do or that you have this problem. Or you could just learn it right from your customer. He's telling you for free or he or she is telling you for free. You may also get a complaint about workmanship and that the company is falling short and that we keep having callbacks on the same kind of a system, or whenever we do a certain trade, we may have a callback. Well, that callback is something that is a gap that we need to fix and that it's giving us an assignment to improve. And then finally, you may find that you have a passive aggressive person on the team or somebody who's just what I call crazy Ivan, who is somebody who's just making weird attitude things and doing strange things, right? So if you have that, we got to make sure that you have to understand we're only as strong as our weakest link, and so we can't have that. And that's something that we could coach for our team as well too. So remember, every concern has a destination. Don't feel pressure, don't feel anger, don't feel stress. It's like, oh, I can help you. You've called the right person. I can be your concierge and help you with this concern. So understand this, guys. You are the ones who are here to serve the customer. It's not your job to figure out some of the problems. Sometimes you have to give it to a teammate and you can't solve everything. Like price concerns, a person answering the phone can definitely help with the concerns by being more professional and giving the veneer of value by doing that. But they certainly may not be able to handle every single price concern, right? So let me show you what the destinations are. We're going to show you this week just the script on how to handle customer concerns. In the next couple weeks, we're going to show you how to master that script. And then we're going to show you some destinations as to how you would solve these things. And then how these concerns bring up coaching opportunities and how you can track those opportunities to improve so that the managers of the company have something to work with the team on. Make sense? So let's get started by just going to the script and going through number one. So when you get a customer concern, and somebody calls you and they're angry about something, understand this. It just starts like this. First of all, the use of the first name, which is why I say Bill. So, Bill, let me just start by saying thanks for sharing this with me. Just so you know, you called the right person, and I can help you with this today. Now let's get this resolved now, so we can get yourself so we can get you back on track here, right? So the idea is, let's focus on the future and getting back on track, and also let them know they called the right person. That you don't act flustered or act like we need to talk to my boss or my manager. It's like, you are the person. You're the customer service person. Every call that you have to give to a manager makes you less and less valuable. So show appreciation, because you should be thankful for the concern, because in a way the customer is helping you improve the company. So not in a way, directly, they're helping you improve by telling you what's wrong. And so you may be able to help people and help the company get back on track. Now you may say, well, not every customer is right. And I'd say, well, that's true, but let me tell you something. Nobody just calls a company to complain over nothing. There's got to be a frustration or thing that's wrong. And I have a rule. If somebody feels like they got bad customer service, or they feel like they didn't get value, then they are correct. There's no arguing about that. That's something that we cannot tell people, that they should see value in something. We have to create value for people to see that. Now, if the person in the field or us at the office have not created that value, that's not the customer's fault. That's our fault. And we need to go back, maybe even call Uncle Joe and go on iCare so I can help you create more value. That's my job, is to help you with that. So number one, show appreciation, get on a first name basis. Let's look to the future. You called the right person. Let's go ahead and see what we can do to get this solved today, to get you back on track, right? That's what that sounds like. Step number two, Bill, it sounds like we've fallen short of, and there are 4 different areas of customer concerns. Number one, price or value. Providing enough value for the investment you've made, right? So sounds like we've fallen short of providing enough value for the investment you've made, right? Do I have that right? And yeah, you got that. It's fine. See, we're getting an agreement. They're saying yes to something. So handling a customer concern is about getting the customer to say yes. So it's important that we just go with the flow here. We don't fight people. Yeah, you guys screwed up the schedule. You're supposed to be at 8 o'clock sharp, and instead you showed up at 10 o'clock. That's 2 hours you wasted of my time. Now you could justify and say our time frame is 8 to 12, so we're actually right in the middle of the time frame, but that's just going to make people unhappy. So you can say, John, I'm really, sounds like we've fallen short of, showing respect for your time today. Do I have that right? That's right. And there you go. Now we got that there. The workmanship. Now we have the same problem over and over. Every time I have this problem, you have a callback. Well, Joe, it sounds like Bill, it sounds like we've fallen short of the quality of the work that you received from us today, right? Attitude. Your guy he made me mad. He was texting his girlfriend. Oh my goodness. Well, it sounds like we've fallen short of the professionalism you'd expect from us on today's call. Does that sound right? And that's what that sounds like, and that's step number two. Now, step number 3, here's a key thing. When somebody is, take note of what intensity of anger or level of frustration people are having. The important thing is to have just as much frustration or anger as they do, because if you don't, you're going to sound like you're trying to, trying to just kind of minimize this. And customers don't like when you minimize things when they're angry, right? So when somebody's angry, you'd say, Bill, I'd be pretty upset if this happened to me, is step 3, right? In fact, I'm getting upset right now just thinking about this, considering how many hours of training we do on, and then pick one, customer service or providing value or scheduling or anything like that, right? How much time we put into training on that. And I can tell you, I can see how important this is to you. And I'd never want to have you go through this again. I want to let you know that right now. So that's empathy. That's what empathy sounds like. Empathy isn't sympathy, and it's not agreeing with people. It's just like, I know you're pretty upset, and I'd be pretty upset if I had something like this happen to me, right? Showing that you can put yourself in their shoes. Step number 3, sharing the vision of the company. Well, it's really disappointing that you received that level of service. One of the things we really focus on and believe on here, and we train people on, is creating higher value, or respecting people's time, or our expertise and our technical abilities, or our world-class service. And it sounds like you don't feel like you got that. Does that sound correct? Yeah, I didn't get that. Good. So now we're on the same page. Now it's time for action. Well, just so you know, I'll be your personal concierge to help you with this situation, and I'll help you with this today. So here's what I'd like to do. Now, there's a bunch of different things I have here, just a short list here. On the next page, there's a bunch of other things you can do, but just pick one of the things you can do from the list when you do your role play with your coach today. I'm going to schedule I got a call back. I'm going to schedule our quality control supervisor to come out and find a more permanent solution to get this job done, right? Or if somebody had a price concern, I'm going to schedule our quality control supervisor to come out to see what he can do about the pricing or to communicate higher value to you. You know, I'm sure he did it, but he'd like to look at the whole job. Use this as a training opportunity to make sure I don't repeat this again. So the number 3 and 4, which are like make sure we flag the account to make sure this doesn't happen again. These are universals that you can say every single time about every single one of those. So just pick a couple if you want, 1 or 2 if you want to, from that next list on number 4. Is it okay if I take care of that for you today? Yes, it is okay if you take care of it for me. And then it's pretty much over. Well, one thing I know for sure is I feel fortunate to have a client like you who cares enough to share your concerns so we have the opportunity to improve. Not many clients would give us this chance to recover, and I really appreciate that. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Now, at the very bottom of the script, I put down, apologize if you feel like it's necessary, but wait until you resolve the issue first. Here's why. Apologizing to a customer about the problem that happened without solving the problem first is one of the things that makes people angrier than anything, because they think they believe, just like you don't have to go any further than your own spouse, where your spouse does something wrong or a routine thing that they do wrong over and over again, and they just say they're sorry again. You're like, well, sorry's not going to cut it this time, right? And your client's going to say the same thing. Sorry's not going to cut it. I wasted all day at this job and you didn't even show up. Sorry's not going to cut it. I paid $500 and it should have been $150. You know, so when you say sorry, that is like putting gasoline on top of a fire that's already burning. So if you feel like you would like to go ahead and apologize after you've solved the problem, go ahead and apologize. But because the solution is still going on, we're not done yet, we're just solving the problem right now, it's really not appropriate to apologize yet, because when you apologize, it sounds like you're done with it, or like we're done, this is over, right? So it's like saying thank you. It's like, you know, it's like saying apologizing means that you think it's over, and it's not over, right? So that's it. So for today, what I want everybody to do is I want everybody to go through this script with your coach, and she's going to go ahead and give you a concern that you can bring up. You want her to do it first, so he or she can do it first. You can get an example of what it sounds like, and then you are going to go through one, and she'll pick one out, whether it's price or scheduling or workmanship or attitude. You get this thing, read through it today. Next week, when I come back, I want you to memorize it so we can go through this by memory and not have to read through it. And that is all for today. Handling client concerns. My hope is that we turn you into personal concierge, people that can handle concerns, and it makes you happy to get one, not upset or angry. Have a great one, everybody.